Where the rubber.
Whoops, wrong one.
Whoa.
Old one.
I got a chafe on my shaft now because I've been beating off all goddamn day.
Welcome to Rubberneckers, where we're going to podcast like it's 1989. I'm one of your hosts, the Philly Fanatic, and this week's guest is one of the hardest working men in podcasting, the host of Who Are These Podcasts, Who Are These Socials, The Creep Off, travels around the country doing live shows and guests on all kinds of podcasts and even little ones like this. Karl, welcome to Rubberneckers, Karl.
What's happening, Philly Fanatic? Thanks for having me, Jody B.
Hey, buddy.
Guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, listen, like I said, I want to officially bury the hatchet between you and me. We had it out years ago. I was an asshole. I'm going to admit it right now.
Still an asshole.
Still an asshole, but I understand. Like I said, I understand. Overstepped my boundaries, but my thing is, I was all very loyal to my friends that were in podcasting, and you were brutal to a few of them. I get it now, and I want to apologize because you know what, Karl? You and I have a lot in common. We are football fans. I think we're politically kind of on the same thing. And there's another thing that I know that we are on the same page with.
I never knew about Marco Polo when I was jerking off the Asian porn.
Yeah.
Like, that's not it.
We're a fan of Asian porn. So like I said, I'm very happy.
Everybody loves to whack it to the Asian gals, John.
Well, John, I want to say to you, I think I had you on my show. It was a bonus show. And I thought we buried the hatchet then. So I think we're good. I think you and
only to your
good.
patrons. Those are the only people that got to hear it, Karl. See, this is to the
I know.
masses. All 12 people are going to know.
Thousands of people, right? Yeah, good point.
Listen, I'm hoping to make it to 10 right now on the live stream. That's what I'm hoping for.
Nice.
But we have comments are flowing through already. So I have someone in the back. Duchess is in the back. She's handling the comments. So she's going to put them up because Jody B is the laziest podcaster I've ever worked with. He refuses to do anything with the comments, and I'm running the rest of the show. So here we are.
That's how you don't get stuck doing it, Karl. You just say, no, I'm not going to do that. And then you don't do it.
Yeah, I'm really bad at saying no, as obviously here I am.
You should get better. What is this, your 5th fucking podcast for the week?
No, you know what? When I was running through all the shows I was doing this week, I forgot to mention I was at the Dick Show on Sunday, and then I did the Creep Off Monday. I did 2 shows on Tuesday, 2 shows on Wednesday, 2 shows yesterday. So I went on Ray DeVito's show for some reason. Then I did Who Are These Socials? But this is the only show I've done today. So that's saying something.
I missed Wednesday when you were over on Misery Loves Company, so I didn't see that yet.
Oh, Karl was on with Kevin Brennan. Was he being an idiot? Karl, you being a fucking idiot.
He's an idiot.
Did you guys watch MLC?
I've started watching it recently, Karl. I could give a fuck about the show for the last however many years. I didn't know shit about Kevin Brennan except he was kind of a prick. And like in the last 2 months, I've probably checked out 5 or 6 episodes live.
It's so addictive, and it's funny because they used to just rag on me over there. I mean, John, you get it. These guys used to rag on me, and then all of a sudden they hate Chad, and they're like, Karl hates Chad. Let's have Karl on our show. And now we're all like BFFs. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, the friend of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah,
that's the art of war, John. Look at you. You read books?
No.
So, Karl, I'm glad you showed up because we got a little nervous there, and it's okay because with all the characters and stuff, I had a backup Karl right here in case you didn't show up. This is going to be.
No one would have known the difference.
It's a striking resemblance. You guys watch the video. I think it looks a lot like Karl.
Hey, listen, I know that we're into this whole drama with Kevin and Gino and Godfrey and all, and I'm here for all of it. I listen to all of it. I found Steel Toe because of all this. I'm a fan of Aaron and April. So, I'm watching all this, and Gino drops a video today.
Oh, Lord.
Buckle in. I don't know if you've seen this so far.
I haven't.
I think it's in the same category as Opie from your show last week, Karl.
Yeah. So Gino is he's in hot water, and he has Kevin up on here, and well, here we go.
This is the guy that
Cover
got
your
there
ears.
and was like, yeah, Gino's the racist. Do you understand?
Fucking niggers. Fucking niggers.
And again,
Jesus.
you know who would love this?
Fucking niggers.
Oh no.
I'm going to stop it there. These guys are destroying each other.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I love what you say, and I believe in this. Observe and report. Don't get involved. Not that back in the day I used to get involved, but I don't get involved anymore.
Yeah.
Let them go do their thing. I'm here for it. I
hope Godfrey whips his ass. That'd be great.
I don't know if he will or he won't. I have no idea.
In Kevin Brennan's defense, it's written in the contract when you go on Compound Media. You have to use that word at least 3 times a week.
It's a fact. That's what I was going to say. Kevin Brennan says it once and it's a problem, but Bill Burr does it for the last 8 years and nobody gives a shit.
Whoa! Not an attractive woman. Someone called me out for being racist when I said that Bill Burr's wife's not hot. She's not hot. There are hot black girls out there. She's not one of them. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? Listen, Bill's just happy. And again, I don't know if I think he found her before he got real famous. I think he could pull better black women now that he's so much more famous. I think they like to date. That's part of it
too. He
was
famous when he got married, though. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm not sure what's going on there, but none of my business, obviously.
Yeah, let's start a podcast fight with Bill Burr too. We're taking on everybody else.
Yeah, right. I'm sure he'll respond to this show.
Yeah.
Oh, the Rubberneckers.
Carl, here's the amazing part about it is you are Teflon Carl. Like out of all this, you stirred up so much shit in the Who Are These podcast universe, and you come out clean as a whistle on the other side.
I know that's true. I know that's true, but Jody, I'll tell you this: I literally am having fun all the time. I think that's the difference. Like some of these guys, like they get real personal and mean, and it goes down this thing where you're just like, oh, they're not having fun anymore. Like the Misery Loves Company stuff. Like I've been on that show a couple times in recent weeks, and it's bizarre because I don't want to be in that world. Like I enjoy that show, I enjoy watching it, I enjoy being on it, but I kind of want to distance myself from everything that's going on with that whole world because these people are, like you said, John, they're trying to ruin each other. They're actively trying to destroy each other's careers.
Carl says, don't listen to my old podcast episodes. I'm sure you're going to find some shit. Let us not bring up the varnished.
Listen, I've been a fan of WATP back when Kevin was your co-host. I mean, when he was your
fan.
Co-host. Yeah,
you hated us. that was when you were going after me.
No.
Fair.
Listen, it was only. I'll tell you what the story was. Yeah. I'm friends with Julia Miranda, and you did the her podcast, and it wasn't the fact that you attacked her podcast. You attacked her personally, like you attacked her looks and everything. And I was like,
but that was her thing, though. All right, so I totally agree with you. I know what you mean. I know what you're saying, and I believe that was the show that producer Dave is on, right?
Yes,
he was the one who reached out to me and said, "Please review our show."
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I just picked it out of nowhere. He asked for it. So I'm like, all right, good. They have a sense of humor. I could go all in. And it's I don't normally pick on people. Well, I do pick on fat people, but the point is this. Her show is about like how hot she is and how she fucked all these rock stars. So I'm like, okay, well then it's fair game if that's like your thing. Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, I know. You've said it multiple times.
Yeah, and by the way, when I talk about fat people, everyone knows like I'm just goofing around, guys. Yeah. You know, when I go on and on and on about how much I dislike overweight people and how gross they are.
I had a feeling that was going to be a drop this week.
That's funny.
John is a person of size, you see,
and
occasionally.
Okay, so let me.
He's one of the good ones, though, Carl. Like he's actually on our side. He's like, fat people suck. They need to stop whining, stop parking so close to the grocery store.
Vinny's the same way. Vinny's also, like there's self-hating Jews. Yes. I think there's self-hating fatties too. They're just like, I hate these fat people. Like, okay,
sir.
Well, I can't stand the fact that they come on and they start saying you have to accept us and you have to love us and I'm hot and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Stop bringing attention to us. You look like a moron. Don't lump me in with this shit.
You are hot. You look hot. You're sweaty. Let's take a load off, big guy.
Yeah, but getting back to the Juliet thing, like I said, and I went after you, and it was wrong. It was wrong, and I'm sorry about that. But anyhow,
no worries, no worries.
Carl,
it happens.
Go ahead, Jody.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna try that again. Take 2. Carl, I've never gone after you once. You can tell him to suck your fucking dick. We'll have a podcast.
No,
He
you know
can just
what?
sit in the back and
Honestly,
we'll talk about fun stuff.
I piss a lot of people off. And when John went after me, I called him the Philly fanatic, and we talked about him a little bit. And that's what makes the show interesting. It's what makes it fun. There's no ill will here. I have no problem with that. And I also want to thank my sister-in-law, Chrissy, who's chatting away in there. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Hi, Chrissy.
So
you know what? Actually, it's funny. Like we had a little bit of we got a whole barrage of topics and fun shit to talk about, Carl. I had a few questions that got asked, and I don't really want to lay into a bunch of them. So I thought it would be fun if, like, throughout the episode, maybe I drop a couple on you, and then if you get bored or you fucking want to talk about something else, just go, "Hey, hit me with a question," and I'll hit you with one of these awesome questions.
This is your show, buddy. You do whatever you want.
I'm giving you the ripcord right now. So at any point you feel uncomfortable, you go, "Hey, give me a question, fuckface." And
you can ask me anything. You can ask me.
I got one for you right now, Carl. Would you like to answer?
Yeah.
This is from an anonymous person. Oh, I'm probably going to read the name. It says,
me.
Why do you hate the creep off so much? And why haven't you done your goddamn consequences? From definitely not Vinny Paulino.
I love the creep off. I do the creep off every Monday at 1 p.m. on the Creep Off YouTube channel. You can also check it out wherever you get podcasts from. And I went to church last weekend. That was one of my consequences I had to do. The other consequence I haven't done yet. People are ragging on me because I have to drive to Gary, Indiana. Now,
Jesus.
Yeah. Now, I told Vinny from the get-go, I'm like, this is a horrible consequence. And when Vinny first put that on the wheel, it was a Patrick Michael thing, whatever. Oh, okay. And when Vinny first put that on the wheel, I go, Vinny, I'm not going to drive to Gary, Indiana. Like, I have shit to do.
Yeah. I already live in Rochester. I'm not going to go to a worse place.
Well, but it's not even that. I don't care about going to Gary, Indiana. If it was Syracuse, I would have gone there already. I don't have time. I work 7 days a week. You guys mentioned and the intro that I'm a very hardworking podcaster. I work every fucking day. And I don't have like downtime to go drive for 2 days in a row. And Vinny, on the other hand, likes to just get baked and drive around in his car. It's like, okay, well, great. Good for you. I don't do that. That's not my thing. I can't just drive to Gary, Indiana. So what I said is I could have done like a green screen thing and pretended I was in Gary and like sat in my car like, whoa, this is scary. But I'm like, all right, here's what I'm gonna do.
I'm getting robbed right now.
Yeah, right. I could have had some fun with it. People would have hated it, whatever. So I said, here's what I'll be to do. I love the Chicago Cubs. I'm gonna fly to Chicago, go to some Cubs games, and I'll get a rental car and I'll drive to Gary, Indiana from Chicago because that's an easy drive, and I can make that happen. Now, the problem is I don't want to be at Wrigley Field in April or May when it's 40 degrees out. So I'm like, can I just go in July when it's fun to watch baseball? And I can just do that. So everyone's ragging at me for not doing my consequence. I'll get to it. It's going to cost me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. I'll get to it. But give me some time.
You're a goddamn man of your word, Carl. You hear that? Definitely not Vinny Paulino. That's what he's doing about his consequences.
I was actually in Gary, Indiana one time. I went there for a poker tournament. I actually won an entry to a poker tournament online. So I go to Gary, Indiana, land in Chicago, do the drive to Gary, Indiana, and stayed on this riverboat barge. And I was like, I felt like everything had a crust on it. Everything you touched. It was the filthiest casino I've ever been in my entire life. I was like,
it was like a casino boat thing, like a literal boat that you were gambling on.
Yeah, you can't gamble on Gary, Indiana proper. But if you go on a boat, if the boat is floating and drifting in the lake, then you can gamble.
Laws are fucking so stupid, John.
John, it's another thing we have in common. I'm also a big fan of playing poker. It's a little Texas Hold'em.
Oh my God.
I play poker with your fucking mother. Oh,
whoa!
I've been playing since I guess 2004. And
he invented Texas Hold'em, Carl. Surprise.
Not even.
He's 114 years old.
I always said if Texas Hold'em only had 4 community cards, I'd be a world champion. It's the river that kills me every time. All right. Let's kind of, if you don't mind, you got another question for him, or are we going to?
No, that was good. That's the icebreaker, baby. Let's get on with the show.
All right. So I'm going to bring up this story here. And
Carl, this is kind of like Who Are These Socials, except we don't have clever fucking drops and stuff.
That's fine.
Get off into it.
Exactly. We just
prepare yourself.
All right. Tennessee hotel guest wakes up to night manager sucking on his toes. An evening manager in a Tennessee hotel was arrested after he was sucking on a man's. He snuck into a man's room and sucked on his toes, according to police. Okay, so I already have questions.
I would have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, so why wouldn't you drug this guy? Like send up a bottle with some like Bill Cosby kind of stuff, get him to knocked out if you're into toe sucking, especially a guy. Secondly, how hot is this guy? Because we don't find out who the person is. I guess they don't identify the victim. It's just this guy.
He obviously was wearing flip-flops when he checked in. He was showing off.
See, I never.
He was showing off the Tootsies.
Yeah, exactly.
Those little piggies with the market.
Right. You gotta put some shoes on when you're checking into your hotel room. Everyone knows that.
I didn't think of that. Yeah. See, I'm not a flip-flop guy. So okay, so he wears his flip-flops, he's parading his toes around. So the guy makes a card, goes in like 5 o'clock in the morning, thinks he's asleep, and then starts sucking on his toes. I mean, I know if something falls or in the house or something, I'm up immediately.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in a hotel, waking up and having some guy's mouth around my foot.
How do you think that was going to go too? Like, I'm trying to figure out the scenario in his head where he's like, well, if I suck his big toe real well, he'll probably let me suck his dick.
Probably.
You know, like he thinks this guy's going to be like, whoa, you suck a mean big toe. Come up here, big fella.
Yeah, you think that's cool?
You know what? If I do this well, we can play This Little Piggy Goes to Market. And
shit.
You never know where it's going to go from there.
Karl, can you imagine if you woke up with some guy was fucking sucking on your feet? They'd probably scream when they got your covers off, though, huh? They'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I get it. That's a club foot joke. I get it.
That's a club foot joke.
Yep.
Neil admitted to police that he entered the room, but he claimed he did so because he smelled smoke. He wanted to make sure the guest was okay, and he accidentally tripped, and his mouth gently fell on his foot and with his tongue.
What a fucking coincidence.
So there was no record of a key being made to go in there and all. And we have a picture of the gentleman. Here he is right here. This is the
whoa. It's not a lie.
Now.
I've seen this guy before.
He was arrested in his home. The key was not recovered. Neil told investigators he had thrown it away. He was arrested at his home on Friday and charged with aggravated burglary and assault. According to police, he's currently jailed on $27,000 bond.
You know, we started off with you and I making amends. I think that we're back on the outs again now, John.
Sorry.
I
was going
Hold
for
on.
uncalled for.
Hold on. That guy got charged with burglary. What did he steal? All he did was put the guy's foot in his mouth.
Toe jam. I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, I understand breaking and entering or whatever, but he didn't steal anything. I'm just saying, I probably would have face fucked the guy if I woke up and some dude was sucking on my foot. I'm being honest. What are you going to do? I've got the upper hand now. Yeah, I'm going to get a blowjob out of the, and I'm probably going to do that real aggressive stuff, like where you hang off the bed and with your head kind of off the side of the mattress.
Did you miss the story about where this is a guy?
Yeah, he deserved it.
Yeah, Jody, what are you talking about?
Listen, I've been with my wife for like 14 fucking years. She knows better. You don't wake me up in the middle of the night unless I'm finna fuck.
That's your wife.
Yeah, it's different.
That's a little bit different.
I wouldn't see the difference. It's dark.
Where are my? Hang on a second.
Oh, you got to drop now.
I already messed up here.
Fumble.
All right, so I have something that Jody put on here. It's the Obese Olympics. Apparently, a couple of guys got into a little fisticuffs here, and I got to tell you,
there's a couple. God damn it. There's a couple. Fuck. What's the word?
Go ahead, Jody.
What's the word? Fucking, I'm having a blank moment here. What's
elephants? There's a couple of elephants.
No, in the Olympics.
In
the Olympics, the things are separated into categories or whatever.
Can you give me syllables? Sounds like
ice skating or field hockey or whatever. It's called something.
Sports.
God fucking damn it. I quit. I'm leaving.
You're Jamingoing. All right, here we go.
What's going on?
Events.
Look at them. I got to tell you, as a fat guy, they're throwing haymakers, and then they weren't messing around. I figured they would be out of breath, wheezing, hands on their knees.
They went 8 seconds just there. That was impressive. I like that you call those haymakers. They're slapping each other. Those like fat people haymakers.
Well, hang on, let's back it up a little bit. With their close here, let's see.
They got some
Those are
steak
all
on
open
them,
hand.
Yeah.
All open hand.
All right, okay. I thought they were actually landing blows there.
No, that's impressive. Don't get me wrong. I'm surprised they're both still standing up.
It reminds me of like when elephant seals, like they mate and they all fight and they're like just running around and banging into each other. Kind of
There's a lot of slapping. Yeah, a lot of slapping going on there.
A lot of
I think the comment I put on it was E Honda versus A Kia or some shit like that. Like
this gives me an idea though,
impressive.
because you can't have obese people fight each other for very long. It's not going to work.
No.
But what if WWE or AEW, whoever wants to grab this idea, it's yours, put 2 obese people, like John-sized people, on lazy boys next to each other, and they just beat the shit out of each other from their lazy boys? I would watch that. That would be a fun event.
Oh, like musical chairs, but there's only one recliner, and they got to fucking
no,
hip toss
it's not
each
musical
other?
chairs. They don't have to get up. They don't have to walk around at all. They
Oh,
just
well, that's
sit
no
there.
fun.
I got an idea, like an office chair on wheels, where you can spin
Oh.
around. Office
Yes.
chair on wheels. Obese fighting. I'm
But it has to break at some point so that we can all laugh. Yes, I'm
okay.
with you.
All
That's
right.
good.
I'm
Oh,
Good
okay.
idea.
all right.
I think Discovery will buy it. We'll call it Battle Fats.
Well, you know
Yes.
what? There we go. Battle fats. All right. So
I like
here's
that.
the guy that's
I would
looking
watch
for-
that.
He's already training. He's already training for the event. Here we go.
24 trophies. Fly off the rim like she blowing in my phone. Benz goes,
Look at him.
shake the boom, boom, boom. Bride or groom. Boy still married to the still. So the G on the class. Little mommy finna shake some. I got this cash, she wants a chance.
Jesus.
To me, the most impressive part of that is his pants are still up. If I even tried one of those things, my pants would have been around my ankles.
That's
And-
awesome. Have you guys seen that new, I think it's Adidas commercial where they have like a fat chick doing yoga or something like these, I guess fat people are athletes now in 2023, which is awesome. It reminds me of Artie Lang when he was on the Howard Stern show. He had this challenge to like hit a baseball from like a woman pitcher or something like that. And he crushed it. He was awesome.
It's pretty
at it.
impressive when you're high on heroin, if you really think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you're obese and just not even paying attention to anything you're doing, and you're still good at like sports or athletics, wow, that was a very impressive video. I'm proud of that guy.
And he
For the audio listeners, it was a fat man running around doing the parkour, and he was putting faith in all kinds of brick walls and steps.
I thought
and
for
stuff.
sure he was gonna land on his face, and he did. He was doing
Carl.
I was shocked.
I don't know how often you get to hang out with Vinny Paulino, but if you happen to see him run up like a mailbox and then do a front flip, I think you would probably shit your pants. Like that's assault, brother. You're hurting the concrete.
Dude,
You know what?
I one time Vinny and I were walking down the street. We walked 20 yards, and he had to like sit down Indian style to rest. Like there's no way he could do any of that.
That could be a consequence. All right. So if he moves the creep off and then he has to do that routine where he runs, he would kill himself. The other thing with Artie Lang, remember when he took on the woman basketball player and
Yes.
beat her too? So he was an athletic fat guy.
Yeah, he was actually really good at sports and didn't take any care of himself whatsoever. It's hilarious.
All right. So I have a question for you. Karl, have you done the whatever podcast yet? Have you critiqued the whatever podcast yet? You have?
I did a couple
Oh.
weeks ago, maybe
Yeah.
a week ago, where they had the elephant in the room.
Oh Jesus.
I
Yeah,
did play that clip.
Okay, so as a Star Wars fan, Carl, did you not giggle heartily when you saw the one where they just cut in Jabba the Hutt talking when that big bitch started speaking?
I haven't seen that.
Carl, oh my God. It's the whole
Send
thing.
it
They
to
go,
me.
hi, I'm Tina, I'm Teresa, and then it goes to her and she goes, Ape due si pa solo.
Hilarious.
Fucking
I have
killed
not
me.
seen that yet.
Well,
Jesus.
So I'm a big fan of the whatever podcast clips. I tried to listen to the whole show. They're 5 hours long, and it's
Yeah,
it's
too
like
much.
herding cats. And
That's a
in the
lot.
middle of the show, if say you do a $50 super chat, then all of a sudden everything stops and it's text to talk, and it
Yeah.
asks a question. They stop. So it's just herding cats, and it's crazy.
Super
Well,
chats.
Yeah, but if they edited that instead, with their clips and made it an actual show, I think it would really be good. But you can't listen to it. You can't watch. Who's got 5 hours for that kind of nonsense? But the reason I say that is to say this: your girl. I have a video of, because now she's blowing up. She's got over 200 some thousand.
Now she's blowing up.
Now she's blowing up. Now this is not her, but here we go.
Obviously,
there's been a clip that's gotten a whole lot of attention for self-described bad B Al Weezy, otherwise known as Ali Lopez from Arizona. This 23-year-old trans woman's introduction during her.
Did you know she was a trans woman?
No.
Really?
I just thought she was obese. I didn't
blew my
realize that
mind.
was. She also has a cock. I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah,
appearance in the podcast went wildly viral thanks to her incredible amount of self-confidence.
The incredible amount of self-confidence.
You know what? If you want to be a trans woman and you're just a fat dude, that's not so bad, because I imagine your dick kind of swells up like biscuits around a hot dog, right? Like.
Yeah, there was an article I saw recently where a trans woman was flashing someone and the judge dismissed it because she was so fat you couldn't see. Oh, you already got that article? Okay.
We're going right to that answer.
Okay, good. All right. Anyway.
She got her start on TikTok back in December 2020. And
I can see her bulges.
She's been collecting view counts in the six.
She back this up just a tad here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I talked over that. But let me just say this real quick. So when I played this clip on my show, I played the clip of they were going around the table saying, what rating would you give yourself out of 10? And she gave herself a 10.
A 10 out of 10.
I'd give herself a 463.
Right?
Yeah. So there's nothing you can improve on? Like nothing? Okay. That's weird.
It looks like she's got a face trying to bust out of there like an alien. It's like it's just about ready to go.
There's a face behind that face. Yeah.
The eyes. Or is that her cock? I don't know. But I mean, if that's her cock, it's impressive.
She's very bulgy in all the wrong places.
She's very bulgy.
All right. Guys, I'm gonna go jerk off for a second. I hope you guys don't mind.
Good luck.
Getting real turned on right now.
I figured you would. So I'm gonna go.
Got your slide whistle handy, Carl? Can you hit that for me real quick?
Trans woman.
I take requests. I'll request hour right now.
Dance monkey.
Trans woman cleared of flashing a penis.
Yes.
In a public after the judge rules the defendant is too fat to be visible.
Well, this is a good thing. This sets precedent for anybody. If I'm pissing on the side of the highway from now on, I'm going to cite this.
My dick is too small to be seen from the road. Yes. Ohio judge ruled that a biological male who identifies as transgender could not be guilty of indecent exposure at the local YMCA because the defendant's fatness covered up any sign of a penis.
Got that Dunlap.
Setting the wrong precedent. Does the judge not realize that this is the wrong way to go? This person was trying to show off whatever sad, pathetic genitalia he or she has. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, I like I said, it's not the fact that you can't see her penis. It's the fact that she is looking at all the other biological women, some children. So this is where this went. 3 incidents took place in the YMCA where she walked around naked in a woman's locker room in September and November of last year, with a third happening. In each instance, underage girls were in the locker room. The mother of the two filed a police report in November, said that the biological male was using the woman's locker room and was told by the YMCA management that they could not tell trans-identified individuals not to use the female locker room. In a statement, the YMCA said that the state non-discrimination law requires it to allow transgender individuals to use locker rooms, changing rooms, bathrooms that align with the gender identity. When is this going to stop? I mean, come on. Yeah. And Karl, listen, we also have a picture of the person. Yes, here it is. Right here.
Okay, good.
God, that guy looks familiar too. What the fuck is going on in the news?
Just so you know, that was the look I had after the Kansas City Chiefs beat my Eagles in the Super Bowl this year.
I was rooting for the Eagles in that game. Fuck the Chiefs. And that win they had over the Bengals was bullshit also. But
I bet John pulled a fucking Kevin Brennan that night.
Oh, well, okay. Now I have to apologize to Karl again. Here we go. I am a mush. Whatever team I bet on loses. And I bet on the Buffalo Bills. God damn it, if they didn't lose. I wanted to see the Buffalo Bills win. I also bet on the Eagles.
Yeah, now he's going to leave. Thanks, John.
I know. So I'm sorry.
That Bills game against the Bengals, is that the game you bet on?
Yeah.
They lost 24-10. That was the worst game they played all year, and it was brutal. It was so depressing how that went down. But all right, we got Aaron Rodgers in week 1 on Monday Night Football, where the Bills are playing the Jets. That'll be interesting. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers in our division now.
All right, I got a random question for Karl. How many times have you jerked off to Princess Leia in her metal bikini?
0 times. And I'll tell you what, she looks good in that. She does look good.
It's pretty sick.
But when I was into that movie, I went to that movie in the theater. I was like 6. So it's not really like a jerk off thing for me.
Jeez, I can't even tell you how old I was.
And you never watched The Return of Jedi ever again, Karl? You going to lie to my face?
No, I have, but I also have the internet. So I don't
true.
need to jerk off to Return of the Jedi.
You're not as old as you look. I get it.
Oh my God. Well, I was playing on my show just this past episode. Bill Maher had Richard Dreyfuss on, and they were talking about a movie from 1967 that Richard Dreyfuss was in, and Bill Maher was talking about how he jerked off to it all the time. And I'm like, how is that even possible? How are people watching movies in 1967? You had to go to the theater for that. I mean, you would know this, Philly fanatic. How did you see a movie in 1967? You had to go to the theater, right? You couldn't watch it in your house.
So, okay, so I'm going to date myself. Back when I was like 14, 15, they had movie theaters where you would go and watch porno movies, and you opened everything with your foot, your elbow. You never touched anything.
Oh, man. The 70s were so awesome, Karl. Do you ever wish you lived then?
Yeah, I actually do.
Me too, sometimes.
The music was better. Everything was better.
You could just go, look, you're in New York City, Times Square, and instead of seeing a bunch of advertisements for Coca-Cola, you can just go crank one out in a closet.
Yep.
I remember
some sad old lady with her titties hanging out for $1. You're just like, yeah, cool. I'm on my way to work.
I'll never forget we were somewhere and someone had found an old like penthouse from the 70s, and the guys were going through it. The guys are like in their 20s and they're opening it up, like, oh my God, look at all the hair. I'm like, yeah, back then, El Natural. Nobody trimmed that thing. It looked like a mess down there. All right, it's time to get to some TikTok stuff, and we know what Karl thinks about TikTok.
I don't care what TikTok video you saw today. I don't give a fuck.
All right.
I heard that too. I was like, oh, damn, we're going to have to scrap some stuff off the board. But fuck you, Karl. We're doing TikTok.
Let's do it.
All right. So there is a woman. I'm going to find her. Here it is. There is a woman, I should say. She's 21 years old. All right. And she is TikTok famous. So here she says, things that would send March 2020 me into a coma. Social media is my full-time job. I rescued 2 puppies from Turkey. I ended up dropping out of university and never went back.
Hold on. Why the fuck was a turkey trying to attack 2 puppies?
No. She rescued 2 puppies from Turkey. She went to Turkey and got 2 puppies. There's not enough puppies in the UK.
I was going to say, she's British.
Yes.
And she's saving puppies in Turkey.
Yes.
That's
right?
retarded.
So she's been in 2 lesbian relationships. She met a soulmate. And then now they broke up, and remembered that when she couldn't afford clothes, now they send them to her. She has 405 million followers on social media combined.
Jesus, titty fucking Christ.
This. All right. So then.
No one told me there was going to be boasting.
No shit.
Exactly. So then the
internet's going to turn on her. It never works out for the best. Like, they're going to eat up JoJo Siwa's ass one of these days. Like, it never stays.
I'm going too slow. So she can tell the news. Guess what? Today I went to do the final thing, which makes me more confident to tell you that she's doing her dance. I bought a house. My offer is accepted in October, and I made the payment. All right. So there she gets your keys April 3rd. All right. So now she's rolling, right? This is cool, right? It's no big deal. So here it is. It's April 3rd. And now
you got your keys, bitch.
She's got her keys, and she's there, and she's on the internet, and she's showing everybody. And guess what? Here we go.
Nope.
Turn this down. She's mortgage-free, homeowner at 21. 21 years old. She bought a house cash.
Jesus Christ.
she bought her house cash at 21 years old, and all she does is she's
Bro.
social media.
What, John? What kind of buck-toothed, club-footed fuckface would talk about being able to pay for a house with the money that he makes from idiots on the internet that pay him to do his stupid podcast? Isn't that crazy?
I feel like you're talking about me right now, Jody.
No, I was a totally other guy.
Now wait a minute.
So I was
Go ahead.
watching Legion of Skanks this week because they had Shuli and Bob Levy on.
You noticed
And
that
they-
one, huh? I caught it today
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and they started talking about being in first class when they fly somewhere. And Dave Smith's
Yep.
like, yeah, I can only go in first class when you're able to lay down and fall asleep. I don't want to just be in first class. We're sitting up. And I think it was either Big J or Lewis who's just like, our fans don't like it when we talk about like bitching about being in first class. You got to stop.
He said you're doing it again. Like they've had a conversation about this before.
He's like,
He said
how
he's
many
doing
times
it.
we talked about this? You can't bitch about first class. Like our fans don't enjoy that. They all sit and coach, and they're annoyed when you say shit like that. I feel like this woman is falling into the same trap. Where and by the way, the same thing is happening with your mom's house, and those
God damn
guys. Yeah, those guys are like Tom Segura is constantly like ragging on people who are poor. Is like, well, why don't you fucking make some money then? I did. What are you doing?
He's
It's
always
like,
been that guy though, Carl.
Yeah,
like
but it's
Tom
it's
has been kind of a money cunt.
Yeah, it's not a good look. And I feel like this woman who's 21, all of her followers are not probably that happy for her. They're just like, well, go fuck yourself.
Right.
Look at you foreshadowing, because here we are.
I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone.
Oh no.
I'm bragging about the house thing. Yes,
That's
the
hilarious.
system's absolutely fucked. I will never get my head around the fact that I've become so lucky. But believe it or not, as much as some of you guys don't want to understand this, I do actually work.
Oh no.
Social media is so mentally draining.
Yeah. Imagine having a boss. Imagine working a real job. That's also difficult.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Carl,
Yeah, go ahead, Jody. I'm sorry.
Carl, I will expect your formal apology by Monday. Apologize for being able to fly to go see your fucking Cubs play baseball and go to
I know, right?
Philadelphia to have a live show. And God, it just sucks so much, man.
But you know
my
what?
gosh, you should have seen our Airbnb in Philadelphia. Five floors.
Yeah.
It was very
The
nice.
internet fucking sucked. I could barely do the podcast with Vinny Paulino.
Listen, if I wasn't an obese, crippled old guy, I would have loved it. And thank you so much for offering the tickets. That was amazing.
I would have loved to have had you at the show. I wish
It
you
would
would
have
have
been
come.
great. I wish I could have came.
I would have made you buy two.
I would listen. If I could have went, I would have paid. I absolutely would have paid.
No,
But
two seats. Charge the man. Just to
I want
be
to
a
go back
dick.
to this woman because I had some advice for her.
That's hilarious, by the way. I love that.
Yeah. Listen, hon, stop putting how much money you make and what you're buying because people are jealous cunts.
Yeah.
Don't show people how much money you have.
It's happening to Bert Kreischer right now. Like I've watched Bert. I used to be a fan of his, legit. I saw him years ago on TV. I was like, this guy's kind of funny. He makes me laugh. And over the years, like you said, Tom, they're friends. He's just got this weird thing happening now where he just talks about riding the bus and doing all this fun shit. I watched his special the night. I fell asleep in 20 minutes because he just admits to being a shitty father and husband. And he's just like, yeah, I make a lot of money and that's what I do now.
Yeah. Listen.
Well, let me say this because there's one thing I don't think people, and maybe I'm wrong about this because I think, John, you and I agree on this. I'm not angry at rich people. I never have been. And, you know, there was a time in this country when you admired rich people. Like, I want to be like that guy. That's cool. And what the problem is, though, is that these people who make money off their audience, then flaunting it to their audience, they're like, fuck you. Like, you're only rich because I'm giving you Patreon money or I'm, you know, supporting your sponsors or whatever they're doing. And it's like, that's the shitty thing. It's not like they got wealthy in some other thing and then they're coming on their show and be like, yeah, I'm really wealthy. It's a great lifestyle. I think people would accept that. But this cunt who's on, can I say that word on here? I'm sorry. I'm turning into what's his nuts, Husey. This cunt who comes on and she's just like, hey, look at me. I just bought a fucking mansion with cash. Aren't I amazing? It's like, that was my money, idiot. It's like our Defense Department. Like I get very annoyed when we send $80 billion to Ukraine because I pay taxes. And I'm like, well, that was my money and I don't want that to happen. So that's fucked up. If the Defense Department came out with a video and they're like, hey, look at us, we're sending all this money to Ukraine, I'd be like, fuck you, that's not cool. So I think they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, poor people hate rich people. They don't like it when you rub richness in their face. So don't whip out the victim card and say, I bought a house cash and now people are being mean to me. Shut your mouth. Get your house, shut up, make your dance to your TikToks, bounce braless up and down with your nipples showing, and just continue to make money. That's my
what's up.
advice.
She's
Put
not
a new
even
studio.
hot.
Nah, she wasn't. But put a studio in the basement and dance around and be happy. You don't have to let people know you just dropped all that money.
It's crazy.
And by the way, I should probably hide my pool table. People can see that. Let me just
turn a little bit. You don't get to see that.
I want people to know.
Oh, hey, you know what? Would you like another random question, Karl?
Of course, I love random questions.
How much editing do you actually still fucking do of your show? Because it sounds, this is from a listener, by the way. The last dozen episodes have sounded really awesome and everything was cool and edited perfectly and the drops were good. And so I don't know if you're still doing it or if you've got a new guy, but you should probably pay him double.
Okay. I'm guessing that came from Edward or your buddy Eugene that used to be on this show.
Yes. Oh, no. This is from anonymous listener.
Okay. I do have an editor now. Your
That's
guy's friend, Edward. Yeah, he reached out to me. And it's weird how this works because I get a lot of people reaching out to me for a lot of different reasons. I'm bad at keeping up with communication, but for some reason, whatever he wrote to me, I was like, all right, I'll reach out back and talk to him. And yes, I do have an editor now, which is amazing. It's freed up so much of my time that's made my life a lot easier. So props to Edward. Thank you, buddy.
Karl, that was actually from Gangrenously, Alex.
Was it from Alex?
100%.
That's funny.
So that's what I do. That's how I make my podcasting money is I edit for other podcasters. And you're absolutely right. Because there's sometimes now, like I'm older now and I'm basically retired and I'm like, I start doing shows and I'm like, why am I doing this? I can't even get to my own shows and I'm doing stuff for other people. I'm just going to say this. I listen to your show. Edward seems like he's doing a good job. The show sounds great. And I'm sure it's a big load off your mind having to do that, especially when you got to put it out to the day. I can't imagine what that's like trying to get that done.
I thought you were going to say but I was waiting for the but.
No. It sounds good. Show sounds really, really good. Cool. I got to get into the creep off. I have not listened to the creep off. And I always say that Vinny looks like James Colburn's retarded brother.
He hasn't heard that a million and a half times.
He hasn't. I don't know. But he's funny. I listened to him on the last show he was on as your co-host. You guys do well together. And I want to start listening to the creep off.
It's a fun show.
So many podcasts, I can't listen to them all.
You know what it is, John? And this is their advertisement. They figured it out not too long ago. It's a true crime podcast for men. That's what it is.
It's the only one. Every true crime show is for women. We have the only true crime show that's for men. And we do it very differently. And
I had no idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hilarious because I don't like true crime shows. I don't listen to them. I don't care. I was on Ray DeVito's show yesterday and he brought up this like true crime thing. And I go, Ray, I host a true crime show and I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't follow this stuff. I don't care about it. But the creep off is for guys like me who are just like, all right, well, let's just laugh at like someone who like murdered his family. And
that's
then
they try to bring in the craziest like serial killer, murderer, cannibal guy, John. And
oh my gosh, John, let me tell you. So Vinny and I, it's a contest. Vinny and I come in and we bring our biggest creeps for whatever category it is. So I brought this creep from Louisiana. It was a couple. Their daughter.
This last one was rough.
It's crazy. Their daughter, 24 years old. She was homeschooled. She's an introvert. She has autism. She sits down on the couch at 24 years old and just sits there and can't talk, can't move.
Catatonic,
for whatever
John.
reason.
Just frozen stiff as a bird staring at the wall.
Yeah, some psychological issue or whatever. They let her sit on that couch for 12 years. She pisses herself and shits herself for 12 years. They try to like wipe her down and change her clothes from time to time, but they don't talk about it. They have people over to their house. She dies 12 years later. She's 36 years old. She dies. They call 911. The paramedics show up and she's like in the couch. She's sewn into the couch at this point.
Oh my God, melted into the couch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, like one of the Karl, you got to be with me on this one. You remember the drug PSAs from like 1995 where it was like, oh, I'm so high, and it was a bitch like melting onto the couch. It's the same shit. She became couch.
Yes. It's so disgusting.
I have a horror story for you. So I have a woman that comes to me and she says, I want to start a true crime podcast, but I don't know what to do. I don't have a mic. I don't have this stuff. So I said, okay, I tell her what to do. She says, I want you to edit for me. We start doing this. So I do everything. She sends me the show. She sends me the show notes. I upload everything. I get everything ready to go for the show. So she puts out about 5 or 6 or 7 episodes. And then she's all over social media talking about how she's got this true crime podcast. I go in and I look at her downloads. And she's got 10,000 downloads per episode per month. And she doesn't even know what she's doing. And I want to take a heavy rope and find a tree and hang myself.
You're going to need a lot. Maybe get a change, huh?
I'm killing myself for 300 downloads. And she's mumbling through some story that she found on the internet. And she's getting thousands of downloads. And now she's so big now, she fired me. She's on to some professional thing where they do all kinds of sound design and all that other shit. And I'm like,
can we just be a true crime podcast? Like talk about somebody that murdered somebody for 2 minutes in the beginning and then just listen?
Sleep. I would like to sleep. I can't do that kind of stuff. I can't watch horror movies. I have nightmares about it. So I can't do that. But I'll tell you what, you want to make money, get yourself a true crime podcast, automatically make money.
So John, I do this thing on the Creep Off. We just started it like, I don't know, 6 months ago. And so we do a segment in the middle of the show called Who Are These Creepos, where we review another true crime podcast, similar to Who Are These Podcasts?
Oh, shit.
Because there's so many true crime shows, just like you said, and they're all popular. They all have an audience, and they're terrible. These people have no business broadcasting whatsoever. They have no idea how to talk, how to be compelling, how to tell a story, and yet they have thousands of followers. They do live shows. They're touring all over the country. I'm like, this is insane. And it's a lot of fun for me because, like, I'm sure when you were listening back to the show, you're like, oh, I could rip this apart. I mean, obviously, that's not your job. Your job is to edit it and make it sound good.
Make it sound as you can, yeah.
Yeah. But wouldn't you love
like sitting there and listening, get like nails on a chalkboard, just every second going, I could just delete this whole fucking thing and be like, whoops.
Wouldn't you love
this doesn't belong on the internet?
Pull clips of that and then go on your show and be like, listen to this asshole. She sucks. So that's part of what we do on Creep Off.
I had a guy come to me and he says, I want to try you out. I go, okay, I'll edit your show. So I edit the show and I do what I do. And he comes back and goes, this is horrible. I said, okay, what am I doing wrong? He goes, well, there's too much pausing. I'm like, what? So then I went back and listened to his other show. It sounds like one giant run-on sentence for 45 minutes.
Oh, that's lazy. He hit the truncate button.
Yeah. And I'm like, you want that? And he goes, yeah. And I go, oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'll never do that. You got to go find somebody else. I'm not doing that.
That's a generational thing because you watch these YouTube shows where they edit out every single pause. And it's just like every sentence, even within the sentence, there's an edit. It's just edit. And I don't know if it's an automated thing like you're saying, Jody, or if they're doing that on purpose, but it's unwatchable. Like guys like us, like this is not a person talking. This is unwatchable.
So I have a question. Yeah. When are you going to do the story about the podcast Hitman?
Oh, funny you bring that up.
Oh, I have a question too, Carl. When you get done.
I got a letter in the mail yesterday. We have a PO box. You can find it on whoarethese.com if you ever want to send me drugs or hot sauce or letters. We got a letter in the mail from him. I have not even opened it yet. I'm planning on reading it on the show tomorrow.
Oh God,
Carl. It's
Carl.
upstairs. I don't have it with me right now, but yeah, I'm planning on reading it on the show tomorrow. Now, I've been in touch with Mike Boudet, Sword and Scale. Very famous, very big podcast. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Philly Fanatic. So Mike Boudet and I have, we've texted back and forth, and he's like, "Hey, I want to do this podcast Hitman thing. Do you want to come on?" I'm like, "Yes, I'd love to come on and do that." The problem is, I don't know if you guys know about the justice system, but it sure does move slow. Holy shit! I mean, this guy still hasn't even gone to trial yet.
How long has it been since they found the body?
COVID?
2.5 years, 3 years.
COVID, right? Yeah, it was the summer of COVID, and they found out all that shit.
July of 2020, right? I think.
Can you tell the story for people that don't know the story?
Yes. Yeah, please. Thank you. I sometimes I forget to rehash these things. So there was this guy. His name is Matt Lewinsky. He goes by Podcast Hitman on social media. And he used to reach out to me via Discord, via Twitter, and he was really interested in this guy we make fun of called Patrick Michael, aka Patty C Cups, Patty Broken Skull. The list goes on. And so he was really interested in this guy's show that we used to make fun of. Well, we still do. Not the point. And he would send me things like, hey, Karl, you got to listen to this episode. You got to hear this. I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I can't listen to every show all the time. And I eventually had him on my show because I'm like, Podcast Hitman's going to come on. This guy, he's all into it. So he came on my show. And then that was April of that year, 2020. And then he sent me a note. He goes, hey, I got a steady girlfriend now. I'm not going to be able to help you out anymore, which I was like, okay.
That's weird. It was a public announcement.
Yeah. I was like, okay, whatever. But he's like, I got a girlfriend now. I'm not going to help you out with your show anymore. So I go, okay, that's fine, buddy. I appreciate it. So fast forward, this girlfriend that he ended up strangling to death in December of that year. He murdered her in their apartment or whatever it was, and put her body in the basement. The problem with this murder is because I guess she doesn't have any family or friends because no one noticed, which is bizarre.
It's really the saddest part of the whole story, Karl.
Yeah, right. Like no one cared. Like no one even knew. So the problem is that he decided to just leave the body in the basement. So months passed by. The neighbors were talking about how they had to like they like park their car and then run into their places because it smelled so bad.
Oh, Jesus.
This body was rotting in his basement. And then eventually he had a psychotic break and he was like roaming around the streets with his underpants and the police picked him up. And then his sister came to the house and discovered the body. And they called the cops. They're like, holy shit, there's a dead person down here. And parts of her like flesh off her back is missing. We still don't know why that is. It's this crazy story. This guy that I knew that I used to communicate with all the time.
Me too. Karl, I talk to him every day.
Oh, no
for
shit.
a year. Yeah. Well, not every day, but every other day. Like we were doing the same thing. So it's
and then he murdered his girlfriend. And there's also speculation that his girlfriend might have been a trans person. It was a very large black woman. It didn't seem like a woman would be that
like Patrick Ewing. Big,
yes,
big shoulders.
Correct. Yeah, definitely a forward or a center. I don't know. I'm bad at basketball, but you know what I mean.
Oh, see, I don't know.
Power forward.
Yeah, power forward.
Kind of drags me into my next story.
All right, let's go. Segue away.
We'll segue into this.
Somebody else murder their girlfriend and keep them in the basement for 8 months.
Here's a trans girl, and this is her story.
Trans girls are better because our coochies are literally custom made.
So trans girls are better because their coochies are custom made. Well, I don't know. I'm a fan of the factory installed coochies. I don't know about you, Karl. I'm really worried about Jody. Jody makes me nervous.
I mean, I like the factory models.
I'll say this, Philly Fanatic. When it comes to vaginas, I like God's work more than physicians.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about this because I've really thought about it. Like,
so you're not into rock pockets?
Oh, now you're being mean. See, you're going the other direction. I'm thinking like this could be a whole show on fucking MTV where like Exhibit or somebody shows up and he's like, yo, what up, son? We're going to put a motherfucking bourbon dispenser inside this part here. So when you eat this dude out, you know, it tastes like whiskey. I think they're custom made.
Actually happens.
You don't know that, dude. Science is moving forward. It's 2023. We do all kinds of shit now.
That's hilarious.
They put a spoiler on it, maybe with the
guys,
underglow lights.
I'm gonna get us kicked off of YouTube. So the problem here is where it's located, because girls, I don't know if you guys ever been with a woman before, but I have a couple
times.
Yeah. So where the girl's vagina is not in the same position as where the penis is what they use to make the vagina. They put that inside out. So
how do you know that, Karl? That's my question.
I've done a lot of research. It's in a weird location. Like if I'm like going down to finger a girl and the vagina shows up before I'm ready for it, I'm like, well, this is odd.
In an odd spot. And
something's off.
Do you remember Kimmy with the really high up pussy?
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh yeah, her vagina was next to her belly button. She was pretty hot. Nope, that's not hot.
Well, Karl, here's some other problems that they have, and here's something we have here. Removing hair from inside my vagina in Texas. Does anybody have experience in finding a gynecologist electrolysis willing to remove hair from inside their vagina canal in or near Texas. It sounds like a pretty tough find. I thought I would check to see if anyone looked. I had genital electrolysis before surgery, and my surgeon reassured me that the hours and time frame I used would be enough. But 5 months out, I've noticed that several long hairs, which I haven't been able to pluck.
John, you don't have to read the whole thing.
Hang on.
Yeah, no, we got it.
I got it.
All right. Oh,
you know what? No. You know what? There's one sentence left. Top her off, John. Give me the gusto.
I'm done. That's okay. I get it. Sometimes
I get it too. That dude had hair growing inside his vagina. That's rough.
Yeah. So like you go in there and you feel like this hair. I mean, again, being someone that's been with a few women in their time, I've never went in there and got like hair. So
well, let me ask you this, John, because we were once young guys, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
When you're intimate with a woman,
okay,
there's not a lot that's gonna stop you. You're gonna like, all right, we're gonna push through this. Like sometimes there's funky smells, sometimes there's not hair inside, but there's hair that like I mentioned on the Dick Show when I was on there, and I didn't realize I was the only one. Then I slept with a girl who didn't shave her legs once, and I'm like, whatever. Like you can get over these things.
It was in Rochester. Was it in the winter or the summer?
It wasn't. It was
a good point. It is very cold there.
Yes, and I get it. If you wear pants every day, like no one's checking. Whatever. She didn't have a boyfriend, but the point is, like, there's a lot that like us as guys will overlook. We'll be like, all right, it's fine. Yeah. We're gonna push through this. Long hair in the vagina. I don't know that I'm gonna get over that one. I
want to know what it's like. Was it just like pubes, or was it? I've got a lot of questions
pubes.
About this.
That's pubes, yeah, because the penis goes inside, and the penis has pubes on it.
And then you just hit pubes like a Brillo pad. That's fucked up.
Yes, pretty much. Which leads me to this.
How could it possibly? What a segue.
Can I just say, I know you did a brilliant segue, but I want to acknowledge Nugget loves Princess Diana because he or she is trying to get my attention. So.
Oh, Karl, don't do it.
Hi, Nugget loves.
Oh no!
Did I just make a bad mistake?
No, we had her as a guest. She's an 18-year-old person that is in the Who's Right universe. Lovely young girl, but she's 18 years old. We also
I'm listening. Sounds
Karl,
legal.
do you need a new review girl, don't you? No, you got the one guy.
I always need new review girls. Yes.
You might want to get Nugget. She's right up your alley for review.
Oh goodness.
But we also had Man Brain Dave on, and he was like making it really uncomfortable. It's like 3 old dudes, and he's making passes at this.
We'll get to that, John. Don't spoil the ending.
Okay.
What's this dude? What's this dude fixing to talk about?
All right, so here we go.
TikTok. I haven't. Hold on, pause it.
I'm trying to say I haven't told him I'm.
Hold on, John. What? We have a guest. Put on your fucking lady voice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I haven't told him yet. I'm trans. I'm nervous. What if he doesn't accept me?
Well, you're going to lose a couple teeth, to be quite honest with you.
It's a svelte-looking young man. I bet he throws a wild right hook.
That guy's a douche.
I know. That the women, the trans women now really pass. And how do you know? How do you know?
I mean, that's clearly a dude in makeup.
Right. So
but
grub ahead.
They got all the way to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever the fuck they were eating.
Right.
Is that Kathy Griffin? What are we looking at right now?
You would think. No. Hold on. So here she is. She's a little upset with this woman right now.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
This is stitched to an entire video of a stitch. The woman makes a lot of sense. You need to hear it. But here's the thing. How is this not against the law? This is a violation to that man. He's being misled. He will go on to do things that actually isn't his choice to do. This is a violation.
It's a violation.
And there needs to be laws against it to protect men from being put in positions like this. It's sick and it's disgusting. You're not proving anything by doing this.
Settle down, lady.
Hold on. Can you pause it real quick?
It's incredibly self-destructive.
The only problem I have is if the chick that you're with has a bigger penis than me. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, all right, you're just showing off. I don't like
Karl.
this.
That's why I don't do it, because I feel like I'd react the same way, and I'm just not going to find anybody much bigger than me, smaller.
Well, she goes on to say that this guy is making out with you and he's feeling your boobs and he's hugging you and he's all into this thing. And then he finds out you have a penis.
Yeah.
And then he freaks out because he's not gay. And now he's just made out with a dude and he can't come to grips with this. And now the trans person is now in danger because you never know what he's going to do to the trans woman.
Right.
And then they complain. Well, I get beat up and all because they can't understand it. You know, I didn't know he didn't want to suck a lady dick. And there we go. I guess.
Well, listen,
hate speech.
If you want to get with Jim Norton, then get with Jim Norton. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem.
There's a ton of guys now.
Jim Norton can't throw a punch to save his life, Karl. Can you imagine?
Right, no, but he can suck a dick.
Yeah,
but I love Jimmy.
I'll suck my way out of this fucking predicament.
Yeah, there's a bunch of millennials around now that think that this is great. It's no big deal. And hey, listen, I'm all for it, but don't sit there and trick a guy. You got to let him know. And if he's like, I don't care, well, then game on. It's fine. It's no problem whatsoever.
I mean, it's not gay if you didn't know she had a wiener and she blew you, John. I'll tell you that now. You know, you're late in life. You should check that out.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
What? If you didn't know she had a wiener and she blew you, it's like if a tree falls in the woods, John.
It's that. What was that movie? Something Games. I forget what it was called.
Hunger Games.
No, it wasn't Hunger Games.
It wasn't Hunger Games.
You're always thinking about food, John. Shut up.
And speaking of going to movies, you go to this movie and you see this thing. And it's a love story between this guy, and at the very end, the woman stands up and she's completely naked from the waist down, and she's got a cock on her. And I'm like,
Sleepaway Camp. I remember that movie. That's the only part I remember about that movie was the very end where the lady had a wiener.
Here's Dave. Dave needs a little love. Donut Games. That's what it was called. It was called Donut Games.
Nice.
Wasn't Patriot.
Donuts.
Fat. Oh my God. The day that came out on WATP, I will never forget this. I'm in the kitchen and I'm listening to your show, and they go, we have a cringe of the week from Rubberneckers, and the blood ran out of my face.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Oh no.
See, I'm sure Jody sent that to me.
No. I got that. About 10 other people sent you that, but
a lot of people sent it to me.
I got mine recently, and I actually sent it, so it doesn't matter. But when I said the shit out loud on the episode, I go, "That's pretty gross. I'll send that to Karl. That's kind of funny."
Hey, listen, I still hold the record, I think, of having 2 cringe weeks. I have that one, and I have the time where I said that, all you want is your anal sex video. Stop trying to take my credit card. Stop not taking my.
You played that at a live show, didn't you?
Yeah, he did.
I don't remember, but
there was a clip where he was going on about Panel or something about watching
Panel. And I couldn't remember Panel, so I kept saying, "Just give me my anal my anal rape video. Just take my card and give me my anal rape video. That's all I want."
That's right. I do remember that. Yes.
I stand by the sentiment. It's just weird, hearing you say it out loud.
Yeah,
quite cringy for sure.
So. All right, so Jody has this on the board, and we need your expertise here. This is who did it better.
Oh, Karl, this is good. So you're into comedy. You got Vinny, I can tell that you're a man who knows your way around a comedy special or jokes. You may not know what is funny, but there's probably plenty of things that make you laugh.
You don't have to insult me.
I want your opinion on something, Karl.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here's the premise, and we'll start with what's it? I can't remember.
John Mulaney. Pause.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Mulaney drops this special a few years ago, and there's a certain setup punchline in this that would be very, problematic nowadays or whatever. But it's funny because I also think people claim that he stole this. This is allegedly a stolen bit. So this is going to be a journey. You tell me who stole from who. We're going to go through the years and see if we can figure out who did it the best, I guess.
All right. So here we go.
I was writing for an awards show once, and I got into some trouble. I wrote a joke for this awards show that had the word midget in it. And someone from the network came down to our offices, and he said to me, "Hey, you can't put the word midget on TV." And I said, "I sure would like to." And he said, "No, midget is as bad as the N-word." First off, no. No, it's not. Do you know how I know it's not? I said to him, is because we're saying the word midget and we're not even saying what the N-word is. If you're comparing the badness of two words and you won't even say one of them, that's the worst word.
It's a great bit.
I think I know where this is going. All right, go
What?
ahead.
You think you know where do you think this is going, Carl?
Well, I might have made a similar observation.
Did you?
Go ahead.
I'm going to be upset if we're stealing your bit. Now I'm really going to be pissed.
You made a similar. I don't even have you on this. We're going to see who did it best.
Oh, okay. Holy shit. Wow. Okay.
Tom Segura, the late great,
with
this
hair.
is Fat Tom
weird.
Segura, pre
Tom
Christina
Segura.
P.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't Tom Segura, is it really? And I couldn't believe he had hair. Here we
Tom
go.
Segura.
Picture me, he goes, you shouldn't say midget. You shouldn't say midget. You should say little people. You shouldn't say midget. I'm like, why not? And he goes, because saying midget is like saying nigger. And I was like, whoa. First of all, we're both white. And if somebody hears you, I'm not protecting you. Secondly, it's not the same thing because our ancestors didn't own midgets, all right? Not unless they won some crazy high-stakes poker game that was like, I'm going all in, plus ancestors. And you're like, pair of kings, I'm fucked. Now, I wish they did. I wish my parents were like, Tom, your great-grandfather, he owned like 40 midgets. Fuck out of here. Do we still get them? And if we did, I would take my midgets and I would put little bowls on their heads. And I would fill them with different types of dip and salsa. And I would have them walk around so I could scoop out whatever I felt like eating. Want some hummus? Get the fuck over here.
All right, so that's Tom.
So they gave Mulaney shit. I've heard, seen Twitter chats where people say that. They say this is a Tom Segura bit whenever they posted that little Mulaney clip. And I go, damn, it kind of is. I mean, the punchline is way different, but the setup is midget is the same as the word.
So I'll say this. I literally said the same thing. We were talking about a Stuttering John clip, and he was talking about, I can't remember what the word was. He was saying, that's just as offensive as the N-word. And I made the observation at the time. I'm like, well, no, it can't be because you literally are not saying the N-word and you're saying that word. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
And so that's like a very obvious thing, I guess. I wasn't ripping off John Mulaney or Tom Segura. I was just like, it's a very obvious thing. Like there's two words that have letters, like the F slur and the N word. Those are the two words.
We say insular here. That we made that one up. Right. I like it.
Great, but you get my point.
All right, so now the last one.
So every other word is, and I don't think that was a ripoff. I think that's a similar thought, and I'm shocked that Tom Segura actually said the N word in that bit.
Me too. That's what I said.
What year is that from?
That's why I said we're going to podcast like it's 1989.
Yeah, wow.
When you could say something like that.
So when I heard Tom run that bit years ago or whatever, I said that does sound kind of familiar, but I can never put my finger on it. And recently I was checking some shit out, and I heard this on an old Ralphie May fucking special, and I go,
okay,
oh shit, who really ripped off who here? Or maybe
Rest
it's
in
just
peace.
one of the.
Yeah.
He's a local fan favorite. It's Ralphie May. I think he's hilarious. I know he didn't mean anything crazy when he was selling his joke, but I think Tom Segura may have kind of ripped off Ralphie May a little bit, Carl.
Here we go.
You heard that whole setup.
They told me the word midget to them was as offensive as the word nigger was, the N-word. I'm like, are you crazy? First of all, there wasn't 400 years of slavery of midgets, okay? We weren't stealing them from the island of Lilliput or Oompa Loompa. Right? We weren't stealing them so they could come over here and pick cotton on their tippy toes. Nobody knows how many farts I've smelled. Nobody knows my sorrow. And for those of y'all who didn't really understand how great a joke that last joke was, you have to remember cotton's a very short plant. Thus the humor when I'm reaching up on my tippy toes. I know, I'm going to get protested for this too, because midgets are mad they've headed up to here with that crap.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, Ralphie May did it the best. and I'm probably the oldest, I think.
I think John Mulaney's was actually kind of short and sweet. Like, even though he didn't drop the bomb, and I kind of preferred that he would, I think that's the point. Like, a lot of it's kind of weighed out with the post effects, but I feel like John Mulaney probably did the best.
Well, I have to say, as far as midget humor goes, Dave Attell rules that. Dave Attell is the funniest, has the funniest midget jokes.
He's the
anyone's ever heard.
passcode, Carl. How could you do that? Don't say that.
Oh, okay.
You're trumping it. I'm just kidding.
I got to say, they say that Ralphie May is the best kept secret. I think Dave Attell is one of of the best kept secrets of stand-up comedy. He
For
destroys
sure.
no matter where he goes.
King.
Yes.
What
Skates Through the Memories is the best stand-up album of all time. And I will say that I don't think anyone's ripping anyone off. I do think that's like a very easy observation to make.
What
Right.
about fat people?
Yeah.
What are you doing, all these fat people?
Women be shopping.
All right,
Yeah.
listen. I said I was going to keep this to an hour. We already went over. Carl,
No.
what?
We're getting
Man has been podcasting all week long. It's Friday night. It's 10 o'clock. Can the guy go get some sleep or something here? I know. Listen, I would stay on for 3 hours with Carl, but I want
I gotta listen to my voicemails. This is the time that I usually spend listening to my voicemails here ready for tomorrow. So that's my next thing that I have to do.
I definitely want to respect your time. And Carl,
I appreciate that, John.
It's normally you go for an hour and a half, and we went over 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes over, and I'm talking too much as it is right now. I want to thank you so much for coming on. And I also want to thank Jody B for making this, because I would have never had the balls to ask you.
This show's great. Guys, I want to tell you both. I went on Ray DeVito's show yesterday, and a lot of these shows I'm doing now are these just reaction to the chat, reading chats shows. You guys actually have clips and opinions and things like this. Is what shows are supposed to be at. We've lost our way in podcasting, so I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. This is great.
Thank you, Carl.
I appreciate it. All right. Again, who are these podcasts? Who are these socials? Creep Off. Go check out Carl's stuff. He has a Discord. He doesn't really do Twitter that much. If you want to find him, go to his Discord. It's a bunch of freaks over there.
Hey, Carl.
But they're his freaks.
Yeah.
I've asked Blind Mike to come on the show, but I don't think he can read his fucking DMs. Maybe the next time you talk to him, tell him to respond. Please.
He can read his DMs. He's ignoring you.
I know, it's a joke.
I text him all the time. He gets right back to me.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch. Is this guy even blind? I'm gonna throw a tennis ball at his fucking
Probably
head.
not. Did you guys ever see? Just to get off on a quick tangent.
I know. I already know what you're gonna say. Say it.
You know what I'm gonna say. So
I do.
Blind Mike used to work for Barstool, and he's still on the Kirk Minahan show, which is on Barstool Sports. But him and Dave Portnoy, and Dave Portnoy is one of the most famous guys in the world. Him and Dave Portnoy went and played ping pong, because Dave Portnoy's like, how blind is this guy?
I watched every fucking second of it, Carl.
There's a
on
video
bated
of them
breath.
playing table tennis, and Dave's like, all right, I'll serve it up, and he just hits it. It just hits David, or just hits Blind Mike in the chest. He's like, I didn't see
Ace.
it.
1 point.
It's one of the funniest things
I don't
you'll
know,
ever
Carl,
watch.
because right around 3 minutes, there is a point where he reaches for one. And you go, I don't know. He kind of seemed like he saw that one coming a little bit. He fucking.
I mean, Mike has told me that like his. All right, peek behind the curtain. When we're doing our show, Who Are These Socials, every Thursday at 6 p.m. on Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel, we get on there like 10-15 minutes before the show starts, and we kind of talk about how we're going to do the show and what we're going to do. And every time I get on StreamYard and he's already there, he's looking at his phone.
He's facing the wall. Jesus, facing the
no,
opposite direction.
He's looking at his
Carl.
phone. So he wears the dark sunglasses. He's looking at his phone like this.
Oh yeah.
And he's like scrolling through his phone, so he can see like a little bit. He says he sees like blobs. He sees like people who got tattoos in the 80s. That's what he sees.
It's like green
blobs.
Yeah,
It's not good. It's not great. So he sees something, but he can't really make sense of anything that's going on.
They told him he went to the Bahamas recently. He actually thinks he did. I think they just stuck him in a car wash and maybe drove him through there.
I know. I made that
They
joke.
put him on a fucking beach in Georgia somewhere.
Yeah,
and
they
he's
put
like,
on the
"Oh,
CD.
it's so pretty, Mike."
They put on the CD, and the CD player, it just sounds like the ocean that like ran a fan on his face. He's like, "This is amazing." Again, we're on vacation, buddy. Good for you.
Oh, look, a seagull just shit on you, and they fling stuff on him.
All right, I know we're trying to wrap things up. Let me ask you guys, because I've asked my friends this. Now we're all podcasters, so The question is, would you rather have hearing or sight? Like, let's say you had to pick one or the other. You're either blind or deaf. Which would you pick?
Deaf.
Yeah, I want to be deaf. And the reason being is I could even edit podcasts if I was deaf. Because I can see the waveforms. It's like the Matrix.
Shit. You'd be like Daredevil, dude.
I've been doing it for so long I can actually
I wouldn't hire you.
Yeah, deaf fucking podcast editor.
Deaf editor.
It's kind of funny because one time they tried to hire me to do a Spanish show. I said, I can't do Spanish show. They go, why not? I go, I don't speak the language. I wouldn't even know what they were talking about. But yeah, no, I still want my
You left that in? That was so offensive. Why did you leave that in?
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
don't
get
know,
canceled for that. Like,
Sounded fine to me, bro.
I'm sorry I didn't know what the N-word was in Spanish. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
I thought they were talking about burritos. I had no idea. I apologize.
No, I thought it was a topping. Sorry.
But,
all right, everybody.
So it's funny that you guys both say that very quickly because that's what everybody says. They'd rather be deaf. I'm a musician. I play music, and I understand that like sight is very important. It's how we navigate with the world. I mean, it probably is the most important sense of our five senses. But I don't know. I would have to think about that.
Hold on, Carl. Now you just brought it to my attention. I fucking hate reading. Can you imagine if you had to read everything?
Oh, it's true.
Excuse me, if you're blind, you'd have to hear it. I see what you're saying. Like it would be a in the long term, it would not be that much fun.
My thing
weird.
I just wouldn't know when I was done wiping my ass. I really would not know. I mean, I just couldn't pass the smell test thing. But I understand. But then there's some musicians that can listen to the vibration.
Yeah.
And then there was this one lady, there was a trans woman that was on one of the shows, and she came out and sang a Whitney Houston song.
Yeah, it was wild. You know what's actually funny? I had a buddy that was blind I did a podcast with, and he said it's all, jokes, haha, hee hee, whatever. He goes, if you really want to fuck my shit up, like move furniture in my house.
Yeah.
He goes, because you kind of get to that point, and you know what you're talking about. Like you got to get up and piss in the middle of the night. You don't turn the lights on. You get up and walk around. You not kind of know where you're going.
Sure.
And he was like, sometimes, I know my house, I know the layout. And he said, I think my wife does it to fuck with me, but she'll just move like a chair or a table and I'll trip over it. He said, it'll fuck me up for the whole rest of the day. I'll sit there and go, my whole shit is a lie. I don't you really want to fuck with a blind person? Just move a table like 3 feet.
Yeah, but I can't, if I couldn't drive, that's my other thing too. I have to be able to drive. You're independent. You're sitting around waiting for somebody. Someone please take me to the grocery store. Wow, John's lost like 250 pounds. I wonder how he gets.
That's the best case scenario, John. Just you go blind.
Go blind, yeah.
Also, Mike told me he recently learned Braille, and by recently I mean like in the last few years, and that seems like really difficult to be able to like touch bumps and know what the words are. I don't want to have to like do that. That seems like a lot of work. I don't want to.
I'm gonna find something around my wife's titties that I don't like. It's gonna be like fucking property of Jaquan or some shit.
There's an old joke that says, you got bad acne when you fall asleep and you wake up and a blind guy's reading your face. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. But no, I'm gonna stick with sight. I understand the hearing thing, but yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, for my line of work, I think I would probably rather be blind because I could still be a podcaster.
But how do you hit the like? I know you do this. I mean, I've got 17 windows open on 3 monitors here, and I'm moving stuff around. How do I do that if I can't see?
Right. And you know what, John? This is what you learn when you're Mike Geary, my co-host. You let someone else do it. And that's what I should be doing anyway. I'm the idiot. I'm doing all the work here.
The problem with you and me, and maybe you, is I'm one of those people that I'm like, I don't trust people doing things. I have to do it. I can't trust you doing it.
Alpha Mike. Urgh.
Yes.
Hey, I can wrap this show up with a final question, Carl. You ready?
Let's do it.
Jenny Jingles and Chrissy Nudes win? I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for Podcast Hitman. He keeps bringing it up. Bro, when are you going to send them nudes? I think you should dress up and send them pictures. That should be on the Wheel of Consequences.
Wait a
minute. The next season.
Jingles
there
has
should be.
nudes?
No,
Carl. So
there's no Jenny Jingles nudes. No.
Real quick, John Carl, Podcast Hitman, wrote him a note and has been asking for him to send him nudes of women in Carl's life, which is a bit offensive. And I think I think Carl should dress up in his fucking cow bikini and send Podcast Hitman those pictures. I think that would be a much better deal, or maybe make Vinny do it. That
Yeah,
should
podcast
definitely-
hitman is fantasizing about my wife. He wants to bang her, and he talks pretty graphically about how he would bang her.
You should
And
have a
it's,
contest and let your fans send in fucking lewds for podcast hitman, and just send him like a dozen of them.
Well, my hope
that's
is that he never sees the light of day, and you never have to worry about that because
Yeah, I'm fine. I think we're good. I think we're good. And Jody, just so you know, like when you run a successful podcast, you do contests around like song parodies, not so much around like your wife being naked. Just throw that out there. Like that's
Fair.
probably the way I approach life.
Well, one day, hopefully, we'll have a successful podcast and we can have
Yes.
a parody thing.
I'm rooting
All
for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we're going to check on out. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.